Deep inside the Amazon rainforest, where the trees are so tall they touch the clouds and the air smells like rain and earth, a young girl named Autumn is exploring on her own. She moves quietly through the thick green jungle, stepping carefully over roots and stones. This forest is not scary to her. This forest is home. And then she stops. Sitting in the middle of the path, looking lost and confused, is a tiny black jaguar cub. The cub stares at her with wide golden eyes. It doesn't run. It doesn't growl. It just sits there, small, alone, and afraid. Autumn kneels down slowly. She stays still and lets the cub decide. Slowly, very slowly, the little jaguar inches toward her. It sniffs her hand, and then it lets her touch it. Autumn smiles. She names him Hope. From that day on, the two of them are inseparable. They chase each other through the trees, splash in the river, and curl up together when the jungle gets dark and quiet. Hope is no longer lost. And with Hope by her side, Autumn has never felt more alive. But Autumn lives in the Amazon with her parents, her father Saul and her mother Ellie. Together, they have dedicated their lives to protecting this forest. They fight against poachers. They save animals. They work with the local Maistre tribe to defend the jungle from anyone who tries to destroy it. That night, Saul and Ellie find Autumn and Hope. One look at the tiny cub and they understand everything. Earlier that same day, a mother jaguar had been killed by poachers. Hope is her baby. He has no one left, except Autumn. As the months pass, Autumn and Hope grow up together. Their bond becomes deeper than words. Ellie watches them and knows this girl will one day carry their mission forward, so she places a sacred Maistre necklace around Autumn's neck. This means responsibility, she says. You belong to this jungle, and the jungle belongs to you. Autumn already knows it in her heart, but the jungle is dangerous, and protecting it comes with a terrible price. One day, while trying to stop a group of poachers, Ellie is killed. The forest that she loved so much becomes the place where she takes her final breath. Saul is destroyed. He looks at his daughter, still wearing that necklace, and makes a decision driven by fear and grief. He will not lose her too. He packs everything up and moves with Autumn to New York City. Far from the jungle, far from the danger, far from everything they have ever known. Autumn is forced to leave behind her tribe, her home, and hope. There is no time to say goodbye. 8 years pass. Autumn is now a teenager in New York City. On the outside, she looks like any other girl, but inside she is still in the Amazon. Every night she dreams about Hope. She covers her walls with paintings of him, dozens of them, a black jaguar running, sleeping, staring back at her with those golden eyes. She misses him with every part of herself. Back in the Amazon, things have gotten much worse. A ruthless hunter named Doria has moved into the region under the cover of building a dam. But the dam is just an excuse. In reality, Doria and her team are trapping animals from the jungle and selling them on the international black market. Rare birds, reptiles, mammals, anything that can be sold, they take. The forest is being destroyed piece by piece. The rivers are being poisoned. The animals are disappearing. The leader of the Maistre tribe, a wise elder named Ore, watches all of this happening and feels completely helpless. The poachers carry modern weapons. His people cannot fight them directly, so he does the only thing he can. He writes a letter. He writes to Saul. In the letter, Orr explains everything. The forest is dying. The water is poisoned. The animals are being taken. And then he mentions something that makes the blood run cold. There is only one black jaguar left in the entire region. The poachers are hunting it. If Saul knows any way to help, anything at all, they are running out of time. Saul reads the letter alone. His hands shake. He had promised Ellie he would protect the jungle. He had made that promise standing right there in the forest with her. But going back means putting Autumn at risk. And he cannot do that. He cannot. So he folds the letter, puts it in a drawer, and says nothing. Meanwhile, Autumn keeps fighting for animals in New York City. Her biology teacher, Anya, orders a live frog for classroom experiments. Autumn secretly reports it to an animal cruelty organization. Her classmates laugh. Anya confiscates her phone and suspends her. But Autumn doesn't care. She prints posters and puts them up outside the school. Stop animal abuse. Animals feel pain, too. When Saul finds out, he decides enough is enough. He is going to send Autumn to stay with her grandmother for a while, to calm things down. But while Autumn is packing her bags, she opens a drawer to look for something, and she finds the letter. She reads every word: the dying forest, the poisoned rivers, the last remaining jaguar. Her heart stops. That jaguar, it could be Hope. She storms out to find Saul. Why did you hide this? That jaguar could be Hope. We have to go back. Saul refuses. Autumn walks away. She sits on her bed and cries. For her mother, for Hope, for the life that was taken from her. But then something shifts. Crying won't save anyone. She wipes her tears and starts packing, not for her grandmother's house, but for the Amazon. She has one problem. Her phone is still with Anya, so she goes to Anya's apartment to get it back. Anya opens the door and immediately eyes the bag on Autumn's shoulder. "Where are you going?" she asks. "My grandmother's house," Autumn says quickly, too quickly. Anya doesn't buy it for a second. She starts asking more questions. She can tell something is wrong. She picks up the phone and starts dialing Saul's number. Autumn panics. She looks around the room and spots Anya's pet hedgehog, a tiny creature named Kitten, sitting in its cage. Anya loves that hedgehog more than almost anything in the world. Autumn grabs Kitten and holds it near the open window. Anya freezes. "Give me my phone," Autumn says. Anya has no choice. She slowly hands it over. But the moment Autumn unlocks the phone, a notification lights up the screen. A flight ticket to Mairihava, already booked, already confirmed. Autumn grabs the phone and runs before Anya can react. Anya stands at her window, watching her go, and then she makes a decision. She cannot let a teenage girl go into the Amazon jungle alone. That forest can be deadly. So she grabs her own bag, buys a ticket, and heads to the airport. At the airport, Autumn calls her grandmother and makes up a story. "I'll be staying at a friend's house for a few days, but I told Dad I'm coming to you. If he asks, just tell him I'm there." Her grandmother, trusting and sweet, agrees to cover for her. Anja boards the same flight. Her plan is simple: confront Autumn on the plane, convince her to turn back. But by the time Anja gets on, the doors are already closing. The flight attendant won't let anyone off, and once they land, there is no return flight available. Both of them are going to the Amazon, whether they like it or not. When they arrive, the airport is surrounded by protesters, signs, chanting, people holding photographs of destroyed forest. Among the crowd are members of the Mairihava tribe, but Autumn doesn't recognize any of them after 8 years, so she sets off on her own, with Anya following close behind. At one point, Autumn tries to ditch Anya in a public restroom. It doesn't work. Anya is faster than she looks. They end up sharing a vehicle together, riding deeper into the Amazon region. The tension between them is thick. Finally, Anya breaks the silence. "I don't understand you. How can you just come to a place like this alone to save a friend? Do you have any idea how dangerous this jungle is?" Autumn turns to look at her. "And I don't understand you. You're a biology teacher. You know what humans are doing to this forest. You know animals suffer, but instead of protecting them, you use them for experiments." Anya has nothing to say to that. They ride the rest of the way in silence. Eventually, they reach a wide river. Anya keeps pushing Autumn to call Saul. Autumn takes her phone out. She looks at it for a moment, then she throws it into the river. Anya stares. "What did you just do?" Autumn says quietly. "I'm going to save my friend." There is something in her voice so steady and certain that Anya stops arguing completely. A local man takes them by boat through the river. Along the way, they pass people selling wild animals, birds in tiny cages, reptiles in boxes. Everything Orr warned about is real. The man drops them at the riverbank and leaves. Minutes later, members of the Mairihava tribe appear through the trees. Orr's daughter Celia stops and stares. "Autumn? Is it really you?" She runs forward and hugs her tightly. Celia takes them straight to Orr. Orr is glad to see Autumn, but when he learns she came without telling Saul, his face goes serious. "You must go back." "I'm not leaving," Autumn says. "Not until I see Hope." Orr sighs. "Even if that jaguar is Hope, he has lived alone in the wild for 8 years. He may not recognize you. If he doesn't, he could attack." But Autumn doesn't move. Orr gives in. She can stay one night. Autumn slips away with Celia to visit her old home. The house is abandoned, covered in vines, broken and quiet. Inside, on the dusty floor, she finds an old drawing, herself and Hope when they were both small. She walks to her old treehouse, and Hope drops out of the tree directly in front of her. Before she can speak, he attacks. His claws strike her shoulder and she hits the ground hard. Hope stares at her for just a second, then disappears back into the jungle. He doesn't recognize her. Later, Orr treats her wound. Autumn lies there quietly, staring at the ceiling. "He's changed so much," she says quietly. "We spent so much time together. We grew up together. Why doesn't he know me?" Orr sits beside her and speaks gently. "Living alone in the wild changes an animal, Autumn. It changes them completely. He has learned to trust nothing and no one. That is how he survived." Anja, sitting in the corner, is trying to process what she just heard. "Wait," she says slowly. "Hope is a jaguar? This whole time? You came all the way from New York City? For a jaguar?" Nobody answers her. The silence says everything. After Autumn's wound is treated, she falls into a heavy sleep. The others step outside. Anya turns to Ore. I can't believe she did all of this for an animal. Ore looks at her and says, illegal animal trafficking is growing every day. Poachers will do anything to get what they want. And if Autumn tries to stop them from taking Hope, they won't hesitate to hurt her too. He pauses. Saul already lost his wife fighting these people. He could not risk losing his daughter too. That is why he kept her away. Anya goes quiet. For the first time, she understands everything. Why Saul did what he did, why Autumn is the way she is, and why this matters so much. In the middle of the night, Autumn wakes up to a sound. She knows that sound. She gets up slowly, steps outside, and there he is, at the edge of the trees, Hope, watching her. The moment he sees her looking at him, he starts to move away, but this time, Autumn follows. She slips past the guards, tracks his paw prints through the dark jungle, and finally catches up to him in a clearing. Hope stops. He turns and looks at her from across the grass. Neither of them moves. Autumn's heart is hammering. Her shoulder still aches. She is terrified of being attacked again, but she takes one step forward and says softly, "Don't you remember me? We used to play together. We grew up side by side. When your mother died, I was the one who stayed with you. I never left you, not willingly." Hope stares at her. Something flickers behind his golden eyes, something old and buried, but fear is still stronger than memory. He turns and disappears into the trees. Autumn stands in the clearing alone. Tears slide down her face. She calls his name once into the darkness. He doesn't come back. The next morning, Ore quietly begins arranging transport to send Autumn and Anya back to the airport. He puts them in a vehicle. The driver starts the engine, and then Hope appears. He runs alongside the vehicle, keeping pace, his golden eyes locked on Autumn through the window. Autumn stares at him. He came back. He is here. He is calling her. She throws open the door and jumps out of the moving vehicle. Anya shouts her name. She forces the driver to stop and scrambles out after her. But when she looks around, she realizes something else. Kitten, her hedgehog, is gone, lost somewhere in the jungle. Her heart sinks, but she cannot leave Autumn alone out here. She takes a breath, and she walks into the jungle. She finds Autumn in a clearing, sitting cross-legged on the ground with her arms open wide, and Hope, all grown up, powerful and wild, 100 pounds of pure black muscle, is running straight toward her. Anya's heart stops. She is certain this is the end. She cannot watch, but Hope slows down. He lowers his great head. He walks right up to Autumn and presses his face against her chest, and Autumn wraps her arms around him. Anya cannot breathe. She has spent her entire career studying animals. She has read every book, attended every lecture, but she has never, not once, seen anything like this. A wild jaguar pressing his head into a human being like a child coming home. She pulls out her phone and starts recording. Then gunshots rip through the air. Poachers. They have found Hope. Bullets tear through the leaves around them. Hope spins and vanishes into the forest in an instant. Anya sprints to Autumn and grabs her arm. "We have to move now." Autumn nods and follows Hope's tracks into the jungle. He knows this forest better than any human alive. Their only chance is to follow him. Hope leaps into a wide river. The poachers are closing in behind them. Autumn and Anya look at each other, then jump in after him and swim hard for the other side. They pull themselves onto the opposite bank, soaking wet and gasping. The poachers lose them at the river. For now, they are safe. They collapse against a tree to rest. Then a python slides out of the water right beside them. Hope shoots straight up a tree. Autumn scrambles up after him. But Anya is completely frozen. Her legs won't move. She stands there staring at the snake as it raises its head toward her. Hope leaps down from the branch. He lands between Anya and the python, growling low and fierce, his whole body tense. The python hesitates. That is all the time Autumn needs. She grabs a hanging vine, drops it down to Anya, and pulls her up into the tree with every bit of strength she has. Anya hangs in the branches, heart pounding. She looks down at Hope, who is still standing guard below. "He just saved my life," she whispers. "Yes," Autumn says. "He did." That night, they climb to the top of the tallest tree they can find and look out over the entire jungle. The canopy stretches forever in every direction, green and silver under the moonlight. It is the most beautiful thing Anya has ever seen. They agree to stay in the trees until morning. Moving through the jungle at night, with the hunters out there and the animals active in the dark, is too risky. In the quiet of the night, while Hope sleeps across a branch above them, Autumn and Anya actually talk, really talk. Anya says, "I have never met anyone like you in my life. The bravery you have, it's not normal." Autumn thinks for a moment. Then she says, I want to say something to you too, even though I tried to stop your experiment. It wasn't because I hated you. I actually respect you. You have a classroom full of students who could become the people who save this forest one day. You have more power to protect animals than you realize. Anya is quiet for a long time after that. Morning comes gently. Autumn is in the river with Hope, splashing around like no time has passed at all, like they are still a girl and a cub, playing in the shallows of the Amazon. Then Anya spots movement through the trees. The hunters are back. Hope sees them too. He picks up a hollow bamboo stick and drops it at Autumn's feet. She understands immediately. She puts one end in her mouth, slides under the water, and breathes through the tube while the hunters pass directly overhead. They walk right past her. They never look down. When they are gone, Autumn surfaces. They keep moving, following Hope deeper into the jungle. Then Autumn's leg gives out. She hits the ground with a sharp cry. The injury from escaping the hunters has gotten worse. Anya kneels beside her immediately. She crushes some large leaves between her palms and presses them against the wound as a natural compress. While she works, Autumn looks up at her. I'm sorry about Kitten, she says quietly, but I think somewhere out here there's a good place for a hedgehog to live. Anya smiles, and for the first time in this whole journey, it reaches her eyes. She tells Autumn how she got Kitten, how she found it injured and terrified on her doorstep, how she was too afraid to even go outside alone at that time, but how she forced herself to take the hedgehog to a doctor. That day, Anya says, was the day I stopped being afraid of everything. Kitten didn't just need me, I needed Kitten. Hope suddenly appears and signals them forward. He has found something. They follow him through the trees and push through a final wall of leaves and stop cold. It is Doria's base, cages everywhere, dozens of animals, birds, reptiles, small mammals, all packed and ready to be transported out of the forest forever. Workers move quickly and quietly. Anya raises her phone and starts recording everything. And then Autumn sees Celia, Orr's daughter, her childhood friend, standing right there in the middle of it, helping load the cages, working with the poachers. The shock hits Autumn like a punch. A sound escapes from her throat before she can stop it. Every head in the camp turns toward them. A tranquilizer dart fires. Hope drops to the ground like a stone. Workers rush toward Autumn. She is surrounded before she can run. Anya bolts into the trees. She runs until her lungs are burning and her legs want to quit. And then Celia steps out of the trees directly in front of her. Anya does not trust her. She has just watched Celia betray everything her father stands for. But right now, Celia is all she has. Anya drives back to the tribe with Celia beside her. She bursts into the village and shoves her phone in front of Orre, playing the footage. Everything. The cages. The animals. Celia in the middle of it. Orre watches in silence. His face does not move. Then Celia speaks up. There is one thing Anya doesn't know. Doria is planning to move Hope to a different location. Tonight. If they don't act now, he is gone forever. Ori turns to Celia and says quietly, You have broken everything we stand for. Celia looks at the ground and says nothing. Ori sends Anya directly to the nearest news station. He then calls together every member of the Mairihava tribe and leads them into the jungle. At the news station, Anya walks straight into a live broadcast, places her phone in front of the camera, and starts talking. She shows the footage. She names Doria. She explains everything. The fake dam project, the black market, the animals being stolen from the Amazon. The broadcast goes out across the country. People watch, people share it, and people show up. At Doria's base, Ore and the tribe block every exit. Doria orders her men to fight through them. But then, more people arrive. People who saw the broadcast. People who came because they could not stay home after watching that footage. And then the police arrive. Doria looks around at the circle closing in on her and knows it is over. She is arrested. Her entire team is arrested. The operation collapses in minutes. Anya runs straight to the cages. She finds the latch, throws it open, and Hope staggers out, still groggy from the tranquilizer. Autumn runs to him and drops to her knees. He puts his heavy head in her lap. She hugs him and doesn't let go for a long time. Then she stands up and walks to Anya. She wraps her arms around her teacher, this woman who started this journey trying to drag her home and ended it saving her life. Thank you, Autumn whispers. Anya holds her tight and doesn't say anything. She doesn't need to. And then, a small sound from the bushes. Kitten comes waddling out of the undergrowth, a little muddy and very pleased with itself. Anya bursts out laughing through her tears. A few days later, Saul arrives. He doesn't say anything angry. He just looks at his daughter standing in the jungle with a full-grown Black Jaguar sitting calmly beside her, and something in him finally lets go. Together, Saul and Autumn walk to Ellie's grave in a quiet corner of the forest. They lay flowers down and stand there in the warm, green silence. After a long moment, Saul says, "I'm staying." Autumn looks at him. "I made a promise to your mother," he says. "I'm not going to break it again." Autumn slips her hand into his, and Hope sits behind them both, watching the forest he almost lost. Now safe for now, because of a girl who never stopped believing he was worth saving. Autumn didn't just rescue a jaguar. She walked back into everything she was afraid of and showed the world what it looks like to love something fiercely and completely, not because it is easy, but because it is right. Some things in this world cannot protect themselves. That is why people like Autumn exist.